July 16, 1913, at Abala, Obuebule town in the then Ikwano division, but now Ikwano local government area of Abia State of Nigeria. The birth of a little boy, Joseph Ikechiuku, into the family of Pa Frank Anyao and Madam Nweke Anyao was received with all excitement that attend the birth of any other baby. Little did the family of Pa Anyao know that a mighty tree breeding valuable fruits can come out of a mustard seed. The birth, the growth, upbringing, vocation, calling, and ministry of Joseph Ikechiuku could be vividly described as one divinely ordained from the conception through life to his transition to eternity. Joseph Ikechiuku grew like every other child in his community and learned the art of farming from his father, who was a successful farmer then. He may not have got much of Western education as he was withdrawn from school at Infant 1 based on mere excuse that a teacher flogged him. But this young Joseph was under divine and inspirational tutelage as God ordered his footsteps through many professions to touch humanity dearly. He was into carpentry, bricklaying, photography, and midwifery, to mention just a few. As an adventurous young man under divine inspiration, Joseph Ikechiuku, being the first of his parents, desirous of excellence, left his parents at Obuebule for Port Harcourt, where he worked as a domestic servant to earn money, with which he took care of his siblings and parents. Then, in the southeastern part of Nigeria, Christianity and by extension Western education were not properly footed, but many converts were converted into what they called the white man's religion. Among these converts was Pa Frank Anyao Okeogu, Ikechiuku's father, who was converted into the Methodist faith in 1912. Consequently, the young Ikechiuku left Obuebule for Nkwele Ezonanka, a community between Onitsha and Awka, where in 1937 he got a job as a laborer in a palm plantation owned by the UAC. It was while working in the UAC farm that his divine assignment of evangelism and ministration into souls for God's kingdom was revealed in a dream. The message of Nkwele was plain and simple, declaring that Joseph must never touch or handle unclean things, as he has been purposely created and destined for God's work. For a young Methodist man like Joseph, understanding the revelation certainly must be very difficult until an apostolic pastor interpreted the revelation for him and counseled him that young Joseph has a divine calling for God's work. With the message and impression registered in his heart, Joseph Ikechiuku accepted to carry the cross. He then resigned from his job at UAC Palm Plantation and headed back to his village, Obuebule. Even though Joseph Ikechiuku was baptized in 1934 into the Methodist Church, where he fellowshipped until the divine revelation, he left the church to commence fellowship with the Apostolic Church. With just 5 years in the Apostolic Church, increased family responsibilities began to shake his devotion to God, almost derailed his divine vision and mission. Being human, Joseph Ikechiuku launched out to ensure the welfare of his siblings as he embarked on a long journey from Obuebule to Ajagbodudu in present-day Delta State of Nigeria, seeking a better paying job. On the 10th of February, 1942, Joseph Ikechiuku arrived at Ajagbodudu, where he was able to secure a job in Cowan Estate near Sapele in Delta State on a daily pay of 4 pence. A year after he arrived at Jagbodudu, precisely 1943, God revealed to Ikechiuku in a dream to learn the art of photography, a directive he quickly obeyed. The effect was great as his source of income improved, thus giving him a better chance to assist his younger ones. Joseph Ikechiuku has severally met God in dreams and visions, but the 1945 encounter was simply too dramatic. At about 9 a.m. in the month of May 1945, Joseph led his workers at the Cohen estate on their daily routine to the field. There he saw a great lightning that sent him uncontrollable reeling on the ground, an incident his workers misinterpreted to have an epileptic fit. Even when Joseph had resigned from his paid job, he held on to his photography, which was a divinely commissioned job. He made money from this and had savings. At a point in time, he bought a piece of land from one Charles Ekpo at Jagbodudu for £6, where he built the first church. A box of covenant, which is a token or symbol of an understanding between God and Joseph Ikechiuku that for as long as he, Joseph, will do God's will, I will do his work too. God did not just ask Joseph to build the box of covenant, he also told him who will help construct the box. Joseph was told that one Osai from Abi Ndokwa West in his Sjccg quarters by River Ajaka would do the job. Joseph Ikechiuku went across the river to look for Osai, who he saw, but surprisingly, Osai had seen the same box in his own revelation. This box of covenant between Apostle Joseph Ikechiuku and his Christian lineage on one hand and God on the other hand subsists till today. The mandate is, do God's work, and he will do our work. St. Joseph's Chosen Church of God is doing God's work, and so God is doing our work. Still under the divine inspiration and directive, Apostle Ikechiuku was directed by God to dig a well of water near his house at Jagbodudu. He was then divinely instructed by God to give the water from the well to the needy to cure various ailments. It is worthy of note to x-ray the literary works of Apostle Joseph Ikechiuku, despite the fact that he was not a product of a conventional Western education. Apostle Ikechiuku authored no fewer than 10 books in his life of apostolic ministration. The books include Physicians and Medicine, Problems of Marriage, The Man God Uses, Change Over, Let No Man Deceive You with the Kingdom of This World, amongst others. Just like any other priest, Apostle Ikechiuku, despite receiving direct ministration from God, was ordained a pastor in 1947 at Jagbodudu by a team of ministers and elders from the Apostolic Church in the present-day Abia State. Papa, as he was generally called, knew that his time was up. Like Apostle Paul to Timothy, Apostle Ikechiuku repeatedly declared before the General Church, Council of Ministers, and members of his family that he had accomplished his divine assignment on earth. So, on the 1st of September 1998, about 11 a.m., Apostle Joseph Ikechiuku transited to eternal glory after a brief illness and was buried on November 8, 1998, in his hometown.